You're DMing today, but you overslept. And now your players are going to show up in an hour and you have nothing planned. What are you going to do? Well, the resident mad lads at Kobold Press have you covered with 2 little pamphlets of poor planning Plan B. Here's a review. The prepared books by John Swatsky and Kobold Press are 2 roughly 30-page books, each containing 12 pre-made adventures for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. The settings and situations of these adventures vary wildly, from goblins cobbling together fortresses and battle carts, to ancient mechanical soldiers rising out of the ground and wreaking mayhem. Both of these books have an MSRP of roughly $15 and can be purchased through Amazon or through their website directly. I will leave links to both in the description below. I personally love these books, and I think they should be a staple in any Dungeon Master's library. These books are incredibly versatile, and you can put the sections in your campaign pretty much anywhere. You aren't going to need very much exposition as to why these events are happening, other than issue is occurring. This is why the issue is important enough for you to invest your time as an adventurer into it, and here is the location of the issue. That's really all the setup you're going to need. One thing to keep in mind is that some of these books use monsters from the Kobold Press Tome of Beasts, and not the official 5e monster manual. But that's not much of an issue. If you're a good enough DM, you could make anything work. You could even just homebrew what you think a Void Dragon Wormling would be, or just use a completely different monster for that section. There's a couple ways you can work around that. As for the individual adventures contained within the books, my personal favorites are Dib's Wagon of Doom and Dib's Fortress of Doom. Both involve the goblins making some kind of structure and then using that structure to cause problems. In fact, Dib's Wagon of Doom is actually the sequel to Dib's Fortress of Doom. So you could have Dib being this recurring character in your universe, or just rename him if you think Dib is a bad name. And it works pretty well. In fact, these 2 goblin encounters I have found work very well with the starter town of Phandalin from the D&D starter set. Because there's already some setup with goblins being some kind of issue in the town. I think it's cool if the adventurers, after they go through the first encounter with the goblins, now have to deal with the goblins escalating their efforts, and you can build that up in the background as the goblins getting more and more intense and more dedicated to causing mayhem. You could even replace the first combat encounter where they fight the goblins on that road with the fortress, because I think the dead horse is in the way, and then they hop out of the forest encounter is kinda weak, and doesn't really set a good tone for how the rest of the adventure is going to go. Whereas goblins in a fortress on the side of the road, that's a little bit more interesting. Another good adventure is A Bad Night for Betting from the first book. It's about a town that's kind of on the outskirts of civilization, so you could put it kind of in like the more deserty region of your world, which you probably have, realistically. And it involves a dogfighting pit, which is like the main entertainment for that town. But then some sketchy dude comes in and sells everybody these potions that are supposed to make the dogs more intense, but he accidentally mutates them into hellish monsters that begin going apeshit on the town. And then the adventurers who just happen to be there now have to either deal with that or find some way out without getting hurt. Overall, these books are excellent, and I can't recommend them enough. Just go buy them now. They're $15. Most books are like $30 anyway. You could just get both of them. Then you have 12 adventures you can put in anywhere. What are you waiting for? Come on. Do it. Just do it. Stop watching the video. Go in the description now. Go. Go.